And nobody has fought harder, not just for cruises, but the entire leisure and hospitality sector in this state in its history than me. You go to any town and visit restaurants, and they will tell you, if I did not have the governor, if I had California or New York policies, I would have gone out of business. You look at hotels, you look at theme parks, you look at all this. We've been there and been the strongest advocate. What CDC has done by closing the cruise industry for over a year, 15 months almost, 14 months, they do not have the authority to do it. And so we're doing it because it obviously has hurt our state, but it's a larger issue than just the cruises. You cannot have just some bureaucracy that doesn't have the legal authority to do this, claim an emergency, and then shut down commerce. And so I can tell you this, all those cruise lines, if we win, they're going to be very much interested in doing the Florida business. And oh, by the way, we provided vaccine for a lot of their workers because they were so committed to doing out of Florida. But that case is in mediation right now. Maybe there will be a resolution. I mean, my view is ultimately, we want to vindicate the state's immediate interest with this, but there is a larger point, and I am confident we will win the case. We will win. We will write on the law. I think all the indications are that will be, and we will absolutely be upheld in the 11th Circuit. And so one way or another, we're going to get it done. We are going to enforce Florida law. I mean, we have Florida law. We have laws that protect the people and the privacy of our citizens, and we are going to enforce it. In fact, I have no choice but to enforce it. I took an oath to enforce the law, and you don't say pass laws and then not enforce it against giant corporations. That doesn't work that way. Everybody is equal before the law, and we will absolutely, enforce the law when it takes effect, which is not till July 1st, as you know. But we will do it, and we will do it fairly and vigorously. It hasn't been sent to my desk yet, so stay tuned. Well, do any of you want to speak to that? I'm.
So personal importation is legal within certain restrictions and requirements set out by the federal government. But commercial importation, which is what we're here to talk about this morning, is the pathway that we're trying to move forward on. No. Well, commercial importation through Canada in the sense of what we're describing here, we're first in the nation to try to move forward.
And there's definitely, though, I mean, I would imagine some of the personal importation probably is illegal because I think there's bootleg stuff. And
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's Well, I mean, one of the reasons we're here is just make sure that Washington knows we're ready. And so once we get that go-ahead, everyone's standing by, ready to go. And you will see within 3 months, I mean, you'll see these shelves. And do you want to give an update on the sellers and whatever, or what's, I mean, because I know you guys have been looking in Canada for a long time. Does anyone?
Yeah, I can talk to that.
Yep.
So one of the FDA requirements under the submittal is that we've identified a foreign seller, and basically what that means is who is the Canadian wholesaler that we will work with as we negotiate directly with manufacturers. We've identified that foreign seller as part of the recent submittal back to FDA. We have a good working relationship with those folks. We already have contacts and relationships with manufacturers, so we don't think that's going to be a hurdle at all, but it is a requirement of the SIP.
From the Biden administration, yeah. And look, we were told it's still under review. If it's not nixed by last week, then they said we were going to be okay. But we haven't gotten the affirmative to do it, and so that's one of the reasons why we just want to make sure it's clear to everybody that we've done the homework we needed to do. We passed all the tests. We've managed to do really not only do adequate plans, but do a plan that's been the model for other folks. Obviously, ACA's work to line up the logistics end, because you can have a right to do this, but if you don't have the logistical supply chain to support it, then it's not going to work. So we're ready, willing, and able, and I think that this could be really, really significant. It was not something, obviously, that the big pharma companies wanted to see, just simply because they've relied on American taxpayers and American consumers to fuel most of the profits, whereas they've been giving all these other companies, other countries, much cheaper drugs. And so we're looking for some equity here between the United States, in this case Florida, and between Canada. And also, if you look at Europe too, they pay less than we do as well. That's all based on government policies that are effectively restricting the market and creating a cartel. And so we're kind of going around that a little bit with this, being able to potentially benefit. And just think about it. I mean, 80 to 150, just say it's $100 million a year. I mean, that's a significant amount of savings for us. I mean, our budget, they appropriated a lot of the federal ESSER and rescue funds. That's obviously not going to be around next year. So, our budget will likely settle back around like 95 billion, 96 billion. So to save $100 million just off one program, that's a pretty significant savings. It may not be that significant in Washington. Maybe that's considered budget dust. But here, that's a really big deal for taxpayers. And then this will open up, if this successfully happens, I think it opens up additional possibilities for additional savings for Florida consumers. So we look forward to it. We look forward to seeing all of you back here in 3 months, hopefully, when those shelves are stocked. Thanks, everybody.